Friday. Friday. The bus is here.
Welcome to Skoolie, San Diego. Okay, so we've got the foundations done. And now is the part we're going to start additive. I think Tyler's going to hook up a stop motion because we're going to build...
Time lapse.
It's also stop motion. But so we're going to put water tanks in. We're going to build a frame for the master bed. And we're going to put, not this weekend, next weekend. The reason for these part of the reason for these was along the plans anyway, but the insurance company wants to know that this is an RV. And I have paperwork from Vermont saying it's an RV, but they want proof. So I have to take pictures. I said, give me 2 weeks. So I have to give them a picture of the bed and a picture of the cooking surfaces. So
I thought there were 3 things. A bed, a cooking surface.
There's 5 things you actually need. Actually, there's 5 of 6 things you
4
have
of
to have.
6.
And eventually, we're going to have a water system, a 120 volt power system, an air conditioner, a bed, and a kitchen.
Kyle really wants that air conditioner.
Yes, it's important.
Yeah.
It's
so,
important.
Unfortunately, that's not till phase 2. So,
Okay.
Kyle's going to be on
So this weekend is water tanks and something that will resemble
a bed frame,
Okay.
the master bed frame.
Okay.
And the structure to hold the water tanks in. Actually, we're going to put the pumps in, and I'll probably put the electric in here so we can test the pumps. So that's the plan. We'll see what happens.
Yay for the weekend.
All right, so when we bought the bus, there was a rusty hole under one of the stickers. So we
used to only be about the size of a quarter though.
the part that was showing was the size of a quarter, but all this was crappy metal. So
All that was rusted.
we're gonna try to weld. Let's see. We cut a piece of sheet metal from the ceiling, and Tyler's inside pressing it with a piece of wood.
Yes, I'm definitely inside pressing it with wood as I'm out here recording.
I'm going to try to weld this. Worst that happens is it looks like crap and we'll cut it out and fix it with Bondo. So here we go. So we just put this 2x4 in, and now we're going to put these 4 vertical 2x4s, which are going to support this 2x4 on top of them, which is the first main support for the bed. And it's also structural support for the front wall, the front bedroom wall.
What have we done?
Okay, our first brace is screwed directly into the ribs of the bus. It will have to break to let anything fly forward, and that's going to be a lot of what's holding the water tanks back, which are going to be like this. We are now putting the vertical braces in, which will be the very front support for the bed. And Tyler and I just did the outer ones, and we'll do the top brace and then the 2 middle braces. And then there's 4 more to go. So there's 4 top braces that we have to put in. And that'll be it.
And the insulation, the cross beam actually cuts into where the insulation is, over there.
And we just cut the insulation around it. So okay, so last night we got the beginnings of the bed frame in, and we got the tanks sort of roughed in a little bit. We noticed a few things we're going to adjust on our design. We call that deck plate engineering, because we've engineered our design, but we're changing a little bit as we install. The other thing we did is we got lock, so we can finally lock Calypso up and leave things in it, because we have not felt comfortable putting inverters and such on board yet. So with the lock, hopefully we can feel more comfortable about putting all this stuff inside of it. So here we go. Hey, so we've decided to re-engineer again a little bit. instead of just one anchor here at the front, we're gonna run a 2x4 and screw it directly into the metal uprights, so we have a rail to basically rest the base of the master bed on. That's what we're doing. We took out our one little stands and we're putting in these cross rails. We have sturdy as heck rails bolted into the frame of the bus, and these rails, these 2x4s will go on top of. We'll have some center supports also, but these rails double as holding the tanks in place. So we've wired this tank up, and this is where it's going to live, right here. And its twin will be on that side, and then this waste tank will be in the middle, and there we have it. So we're just about done getting ready for the master bed. So what we're doing now is putting the vertical supports for the master bed, which will double in holding the small tank in place. So we've marked the footers along the bottom, and we're going to just screw these verticals into them and then screw them into this. So we'll have a little H pattern, and that will be secured into the top. What we're trying to avoid doing is drilling into the waterproofed floor, because we waterproof the floor and we don't want a whole bunch of extra screw holes. So most of these things are just resting on the floor, and we're trying to secure them on the sides instead of in the floor. We'll see how that works. We got our frame in. It's pretty solid. It's pretty solidly connected to the frame of the bus, and should support our bed with no problem. So with these in place, and there's one more for the back, but we haven't screwed it in yet because it's going to have hinges on it for the top of the bed. But what I wanted to do today is we've got the wiring harnesses on the tanks, 2 of the tanks. I'm going to hook all the connections up, and maybe we'll pour some bleach water in there to start the tanks cleaning themselves out. Don't know. I do want to hook it up and see how it's going to work. So we're putting a lock on the door today. We have to kind of custom build one. We're going to use our normal bus folding door, but we got this kind of lock that will keep the folding door shut when it's locked. But we have to sort of make an adapter for the bus door, so that's what we're doing right now. So we're putting the lock on the adapter, and then we'll mount the adapter on the door, and we should be done to be able to lock our bus. Our handy dandy cylinder lock will not just fit on the door willy-nilly. So we have built this adapter plate out of a sheet of 1/8" sheet metal and some plywood to give a little bit of spacer, and we've spaced this out so when we mount this to this piece of metal, it'll be in the right place to hold the receiver on this door. So what I'm about to do is mount our assembly to the door with these self-tapping sheet metal screws. So here goes our first holes in the bus. So the deal with this lock is, because it's a bus with dual opening doors, if there's just a deadbolt, it's kind of easy to flip the doors open and the deadbolt's not going to hold. So Tyler found these on Home Depot. What's it called?
It's like a prime line lock or something.
Well, that's the brand.
Link in the description.
But the point is the deadbolts engage the trap right there, and so when you lock it, and it's lined up right, when you lock it, there's no way those are getting apart. So as long as this is screwed into one side and this is screwed into the other side, your door is not going to open. So that's why we chose this lock. We may end up changing the doors out later on and getting a more home style door, but For now, this is what we're using. Okay, the door is kicking our butts because we got to get a round hole here. It was not happening. So we're going to try this Dremel tool.
Maybe turn up the speed.
First one, it really needs to be a cross kind of, so we're
Yeah.
going to put a cross.
Appears to be sort of working.
So we can't do it in one step. We're going to do it in a bunch of steps. Drilled a bunch of little holes around the inside, and now we'll get a little file or something and smooth it out. Fun.
Very.
Well, it's us against a steel door. And so far, the steel door has been laughing. But we're chipping away at it. We got a hidden Mickey.
We did get this big hole done though. That's been finished. Roughly.
Well, so far every time we've had a goal, we made it. Today we did not make the goal of finishing the lock on the door.
That was bound to happen eventually.
Yeah, so we got the locking side. The catch side is kicking our behinds. So it's gotten dark thanks to daylight savings time, so we're gonna call it quits and come back at it fresh next weekend. Trying to get a sink and maybe a cooktop, at least in on a temporary counter, so we can take some pictures and prove it's an RV.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. We didn't quite make it today, but that's all right. Live to fight another day.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.